So I used to believe that demons were attached to non-Christian music, and then all of a sudden I'm standing around a fire burning CDs. But don't worry, Indiana Jones pulled me out of it. This is that story. Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm a deep skeptic, also a pastor. So it was the 90s, wild time, and it was really the height of the formation of this Christian subculture, this sort of separatist Christian subculture. There were Christian books, Christian movies, Christian music, even Christian mints. And I was taught in church and religious gatherings that I needed to use the Christian version of everything. Otherwise, I might fall prey to Satan and demons. I went to this Christian music festival called Atlanta Fest. It was at Six Flags, and all the Christian artists that I love were playing there, including my absolute favorite, DC Talk. And I don't really care how problematic they are. It is so much a part of my teenage years that I will never not like the song Jesus Freak. And while I was there was a booth of a guy who made documentaries about secular music. One of the biggest ones with, I believe it had 2 VHS tapes in the same box. It was called Hell's Bells. And Hell's Bells told you all about how demons and Satan worship was attached to secular music. Talked about how AC/DC stood for After Christ Death Child. It talked about Satan worship that bands participated in and just all kinds of insane things. And what it said was the music that they created had demonic influence attached to it. Like, if you listened to it, you were in danger, ultimately, of being possessed by demons, but at the very least, having the influence of demonic forces on your life. And you don't need that. Like, it's hard enough being a Christian without letting the demons in. Now, I bought the VHS tapes and I pored over them. I watched them so many times. And I had bought the Christian subculture message hook, line, and sinker. I didn't have hardly any secular CDs, except I think maybe the Billy Joel Greatest Hits. But I had to share that one with my mom, so I figured it didn't count. But my friends listened to bands like Pearl Jam and Nirvana and AC/DC. And because of what I was taught, I was scared for their souls. Like, I was scared that if they didn't watch themselves, like, they would be burning for eternity in hell. I've always been good at convincing people of my perspective, even back then. We had a movie night at my house. We watched Hell's Bells and the other video that I can't remember exactly what the title was. And then I started on my campaign to get them to get rid of their CDs. Now, I was a boy. My friends were boys in their mid-teens, which often means that you really enjoy playing with fire. And I came up with this idea that we would burn our CDs in a little fire pit I had in my backyard. So I had convinced my friends to get rid of all of their secular music CDs. They brought their giant binder with, over 100 CDs in it and burned them one by one. But it gets worse. I decided that everybody needed to hear this message, everybody in my youth group. So we actually created a supercut from Hell's Bells and that other video. And then we presented it with like little pauses in the video to talk about our own stories and convince all the people in my youth group that they should burn their CDs too. And so we had another bonfire in my backyard and burned more CDs. But it gets worse. It caught on in my little town, and we got invited to other churches to give the presentation, and other people had little bonfires at their house burning secular music CDs so that the demons didn't get them. And eventually, oh my gosh, some of the stragglers from my friend group and my church said, okay, they broke down. It's time to get rid of our secular music CDs. And so we had a bonfire, not at my house, but at my friend's house. He had one of those barrels that you can burn things in. And so we did that outside of my friend's house. We were burning the things. And then one friend said, you know what? I have something else. And he left. And he came back with books and threw the books into the fire, and immediately I had flashes of Indiana Jones and the Nazis burning the books, and I was like, oh no, what have I been doing? I didn't quite know exactly how to process this and what to do about it, because at that point I was like, hey, I can't believe that I got all my friends to do this crazy thing. But all of my friends had already done it, and so I kind of just stopped. Like, I stopped talking about it. I had other things to do if a youth group wanted us to come talk about it, and oh my gosh. And this is a bigger problem. Like, when you're forming beliefs, there's this sort of pressure sometimes to separate yourself away from the rest of the world and to become this, like, almost like a monk or something. But the problem is that when you do that, you lose the diversity of opinions and the diversity of voices. You lose really the power of intense critique and sort of rigorous investigation. All of those things are essential when you're trying to figure out what you believe, and it's a lifelong process, right? Trying to be the person that you want to be in the world, and find when you figure out that you've been wrong the whole time about something you believed. And I guess a huge part of what I'm saying is we just need to stop with the Christian subculture stuff and just have culture. Just participate fully in society. Don't have a Christian sports league. Don't have a Christian school. Instead, engage in the culture around us so that, I mean, not only is it important to just engage with the culture, but it is also absolutely essential for your spiritual health to have perspectives that differ from you in the world that you are engaging with, so that you figure out, oh man, I've really screwed this up.